Should public safety be re-examined? 65.8% of Harris County's overall budget is spent on public safety, according to the records. Now, this includes law enforcement, jails, courts, and firefighters. Multiple local activists say this needs to change, calling for more investment in other areas like healthcare, careers, and housing. Joining us to talk about it, President of Super Neighborhood 83, Tamara Bell, and community activist Matilda Saragosa. Glad to have you all both here on The Factor Uncensored. So when you take a look at county, city, statewide, federal spending, and a lot of it goes to law enforcement, why would you have a problem with that?
I don't, let me be clear about this. I absolutely believe in public safety, and anybody can say you can do public safety without officers. That is just not going to happen. You have to have officers, and you have to have jails. Crime deserves punishment. But in addition to that, when you are talking about public safety, you should look at how you can prevent that. When I was in school, we had after-school programs for youths that kept them off the streets. You had the Y, you had the Boys and Girls Club, you had the settlement houses, and then a lot of the schools had after-school programs. With the change in HISD, and especially in the same direction of this new administration, so many after-school things have been shut off. They're gone. The teachers who would stay late, who didn't have to be paid, who would look after them, they did it. Now, the policing is not going to work right now without the healthcare component, which is the psychological needs, because most of the time when they're dealing with people, they have psychological problems. They either have veterans with mental issues or people on drugs with mental issues. And if you don't have something like Cahoots, like the program they have up in Arizona, something like that, you're battling something that you're not trained for. Officers are not psychiatrists. That's not what they're. So you need all of this working together to have effective public safety.
And Matilda, what are some of the other programs you could see individuals or municipalities, counties, states pumping more money into to prevent us getting to the point of having to address so much crime around this country?
I would want to say housing would be one of the first priorities, mental health and medication management. How can we assist those people that have the needs? We work endlessly going out into the community to help people identify these needs and address them and raise that awareness. But once we get that awareness raised, what happens after that? So I'm boots on the ground. I'm going into these homes and I'm seeing that there's so many needs that need to be met. Okay, we realize they have mental health. How are they going to pay for that medication? They can't afford the copay if they have insurance. Hell, they can't even get a job because we always criterion them. If they have felonies, you can't get a job. If you have felonies, you can't get an apartment. So there's so many things that need to be poured into so that way we can help our community to better themselves, to feel safe in the environment that we live in.
Tomorrow, if individuals hear you guys and the plight or the plea that you're making, what would you tell them to do if they agree with you in order to make a change, to make a difference in this community and communities around the country?
Well, what I would tell them to do is that every county community center, the city's public community centers, they have an officer or somebody on duty at every one of them. If you're going to have an officer on duty there, why can't you arrange to have some free after-school programs there for the children? Because people don't understand the psychological effects of these young people from COVID. Because being home for 2 years and not being in a structured environment, which we all had for over 12 years of our life, has put them behind. They've not caught up. Even their parents are still suffering from that. You need to do something to get them refocused and get them recentered before they end up in a gang where they feel like they belong. Because you have to understand, as a former leader of a gang in the 6th grade, GTO, girls taking over, I know why people get in gangs. They get in gangs so that they can feel belong, like they're a part of something. But if you give them something positive to look to, they don't have to worry about being in a gang. That's why you put them in band, you put them in swimming, you put them in basketball, track. But the way the school has changed so much, a lot of that, they don't even have music classes anymore. They don't have art classes. A lot of that, they took that out of the budget.
And really quick, for those who are interested in your movement and want to be a part of it, what should they do?
Absolutely, they need to give their pleas to our county leadership. You need to do it with your city leadership, do it with your state leadership, do it with your federal leadership. Because if you don't get to politicians to sit up there and do something to correct the community, it's just going to be a vicious cycle that continues.
All right. Thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Good to see you.